Hey, it's not all about avocado trees and palm trees and then whatever exotic plant fancy I have at the moment. It's also about native plants, people. Look at this beautiful perennial penstemon. I know it's a penstemon. I don't know the species, and I'm sure someone's going to tell me because I'm dying to know. I'm going to take a little cutting off this plant. This is in the San Diego chaparral, and you can see the conditions here. They're pretty austere and bleak, but somehow this plant, it's the only one I see around. Really don't see any others. Nope. But look at this big, beautiful thing. Like, you can imagine if you had trimmed this back a little bit, and kind of cleaned it up a little. This is last year's bloom, what that would be like. And I do know that penstemon grows extremely easily from cuttings. So I'm going to take a cutting, obviously, from this plant that people run over. That's a wheel track. It's not my wheel track. I'm way over there. But someone over here who didn't like penstemon drove by and broke off the poor penstemon. But this is really pretty. So look at the leaf on this thing. It's all like serrated. Look at the serrations like a knife. Isn't that cool? The teeth on there. And it has this really lush green. Look, the new growth is a bright, super bright, lighter green. And then the old weathered growth that's hardened off and ready for just about anything is more olive green. And that might be a little bit of dust too. But look at also, I'm just noticing here, it's really almost like a succulent. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, it's really a pretty succulent plant. It's probably full of water now because it rained quite a bit recently. But look at what it does here. The leaf kind of comes out of the main stem, and then the stems sprout out and sort of surround the leaf. I think we have two little tiny critters right there. Where is that? Maybe that's just something it's exuding from the cut that it had there. But anyway, I would love to know the name of this particular native penstemon. Like I said, I'm going to take a cutting, take it home, see if I can get it going in the garden. I think it's really pretty, not just for the flowers, but for the really gorgeous foliage. Like, you just break this off and look how pretty that is right there. All that new growth. So, and again, I mean, obviously, if it's growing here, it's not getting any water. So imagine a whole beautiful garden of native plants, plus maybe a couple almost native Brahia armata blue palms mixed in, some yucca whipplei, and some of this penstemon, and a whole bunch of other things all mixed together. You can make a really beautiful, almost exotic looking garden just from native plants alone. Maybe throw a madrone in there. But this is really pretty. And I've never seen this in gardens. I'm sure it's out there. But you would think with all those attributes of it being native, probably really good habitat for California native species of some sort, or various sorts. And the fact that it uses no water at all, you'd think it would be fairly prevalent. It gets a woody, very woody stem here. Oh, this is broken. Oh, this whole thing is just hanging by a thread. Goodness, it was broken off and barely hanging when I touched it, and I feel bad. I guess that's my cutting, folks. I'm going to take that home, get a couple good cuttings out of that. I'm going to leave it be, though, after that. And sometimes these will actually elbow root in the ground. Elbow rooting is when the plant hits the ground, and then it actually roots through its stem and sort of spreads that way. Ground rooting with stem contact. So there you go. Your native penstemon. One of my faithful viewers is going to tell us what this is, and then we will all know. And right now it's on a south-facing slope, San Diego County, and it's also it has a lot of heat coming up off this road and reflection of light. So it is probably blooming a little bit earlier than it normally would if it were somewhere else on the slope where there's not as much heat buildup. So anyway, somebody will tell us what this is, and then we can all know.